The universe was on the brink of chaos once again as the Omni Kings announced the return of the Tournament of Power, a grand battle royale where the strongest warriors from across the multiverse would clash to determine the fate of their respective universes. This time, however, the stakes were even higher. The victor would not only secure their universe's survival but also gain access to the fabled Super Dragon Balls, capable of granting any wish imaginable. Among the participants was Universe 7, home to Earth's mightiest warriors, including Goku, Vegeta, and their allies. But this time, an unexpected twist shook the very foundation of the tournament. Cell, the once defeated bio-android, had been resurrected and recruited to join Universe 7's team. His return sent shockwaves through the Z fighters, who had not forgotten his reign of terror during the Cell games. Yet, Cell claimed he had changed, driven by a newfound desire to test his limits and prove his superiority in the ultimate battle. As the tournament approached, Goku and Vegeta trained relentlessly in the hyperbolic time chamber, pushing their bodies and spirits to the brink. Goku's mastery of Ultra Instinct had reached new heights, but he still struggled to maintain the elusive state for extended periods. Vegeta, on the other hand, had honed his own unique transformation, a fusion of his Saiyan pride and the power of destruction, which he called Super Saiyan Royal Blue. Meanwhile, Cell's presence loomed large over the team. His perfect form had evolved further, granting him a sleek, golden aura that rivaled the power of Super Saiyan Blue. His confidence was unshakable, and he made it clear that he would not hesitate to eliminate anyone who stood in his way, even his own teammates. The day of the tournament arrived, and the warriors of Universe 7 stepped onto the colossal arena, a floating platform surrounded by an endless void. The atmosphere was electric as the other universes' fighters glared at them with a mix of curiosity and hostility. Among them was Jiren, the stoic and overwhelmingly powerful warrior from Universe 11, whose mere presence exuded an aura of invincibility. His calm demeanor masked a burning desire to prove his strength and uphold justice, even if it meant crushing his opponents without mercy. The stage was set for an epic clash of titans, and the tension was palpable. The tournament began with a deafening roar as fighters from all universes charged at each other in a chaotic frenzy. Goku and Vegeta immediately sought out Jiren, eager to test their newfound strength against the legendary warrior. Goku unleashed a flurry of punches and kicks, each strike infused with the power of Ultra Instinct, but Jiren effortlessly countered with precise movements and devastating energy blasts. Vegeta joined the fray, his Super Saiyan Royal Blue form glowing with intensity as he launched a barrage of Gallic Gun attacks. Jiren, however, remained unfazed, his eyes narrowing as he prepared to unleash his full power. Meanwhile, Cell found himself face to face with Toppo, the burly warrior from Universe 11 who had embraced the power of destruction. Toppo's massive frame and overwhelming strength made him a formidable opponent, but Cell's speed and cunning allowed him to evade the worst of Toppo's attacks. With a sinister grin, Cell unleashed his signature move, the Solar Kamehameha, a devastating beam of energy that tore through the arena. Toppo countered with a massive energy sphere, the two attacks colliding in a blinding explosion that sent shockwaves rippling across the battlefield. As the battle raged on, Goku and Vegeta realized that even their combined efforts were not enough to defeat Jiren. The Saiyan duo exchanged a determined glance, knowing that their only hope lay in fusion. With a swift motion, they performed the fusion dance, their bodies merging into the unstoppable warrior known as Gogeta. The fusion's power was immense, and Gogeta wasted no time in launching a relentless assault on Jiren. His punches and kicks were faster than light, each strike creating shockwaves that shook the arena. Jiren, however, was not one to be outdone. His eyes glowed with a fierce intensity as he activated his full power, his aura expanding to engulf the entire battlefield. The clash between Gogeta and Jiren was nothing short of spectacular. Gogeta's energy attacks, infused with the power of Ultra Instinct, collided with Jiren's overwhelming strength in a series of explosions that lit up the void. The two warriors moved with such speed that their movements were almost imperceptible, their fists and feet connecting with earth-shattering force. Despite Gogeta's immense power, Jiren's resilience and determination kept him in the fight, his attacks growing more ferocious with each passing moment. As the battle reached its climax, Gogeta unleashed his ultimate attack, the Stardust Breaker, a devastating energy sphere that disintegrated anything in its path. Jiren countered with his own ultimate technique, the Power Impact, a concentrated blast of energy that rivaled the power of a supernova. The two attacks collided in a cataclysmic explosion, the sheer force of which threatened to tear the arena apart. When the dust settled, both warriors stood battered and bruised, their power levels significantly diminished. Realizing that even fusion was not enough to defeat Jiren, Goku and Vegeta made a desperate decision. They reached for the Potara earrings, their only hope of achieving a power greater than anything they had ever known. As the earrings clicked into place, their bodies merged once again, this time into the legendary warrior known as Vegito. The fusion's power was beyond comprehension, his aura radiating with a golden light that illuminated the entire arena. Vegito's eyes gleamed with determination as he prepared to face Jiren in what would surely be the final battle of the tournament. The stage was set for an epic showdown, the fate of the multiverse hanging in the balance. Vegito's power was unmatched, but Jiren's resolve was unbreakable. As the two warriors charged at each other, the very fabric of reality seemed to tremble under the weight of their clash. The battle was far from over, and the outcome remained uncertain. But one thing was clear, the Tournament of Power would go down in history as the greatest battle the multiverse had ever seen. The arena trembled as the battle between the Universe 7 warriors and the relentless fighters of Universe 11 reached its peak. The crowd roared, their voices blending with the crackling energy of ki blasts and the thunderous impacts of fists colliding. At the center of it all, Cell, now fully integrated into the Tournament of Power, unleashed his perfect form's full potential, his golden aura blazing as he faced off against Toppo, whose god of destruction energy surged with raw, destructive power. Cell's cunning smirk never wavered as he dodged Toppo's massive energy spheres, his movements fluid and precise. "You're strong," Cell taunted, his voice dripping with mockery, "but strength alone won't save you." With a sudden burst of speed, Cell closed the distance, his tail lashing out like a whip, aiming to ensnare Toppo. The Universe 11 warrior countered with a devastating punch, but Cell twisted midair, his tail wrapping around Toppo's arm and yanking him off balance. Cell followed up with a barrage of energy blasts, each one exploding against Toppo's defenses, forcing him to retreat. Meanwhile, Vegito, now fully immersed in the fight, felt the stirrings of a new power within him. The fusion of Goku and Vegeta had always been a force to be reckoned with, but now, as the pressure of the battle mounted, Vegito's body began to move on its own, his instincts sharpening to an almost divine level. His movements became impossibly fluid, his strikes landing with pinpoint accuracy as he effortlessly dodged Dispo's lightning-fast attacks. Dispo, the speedster of Universe 11, was relentless, his movements a blur as he darted around Vegito, trying to find an opening. But Vegito's newfound awareness allowed him to predict Dispo's every move, his body reacting before his mind could even process the threat. With a swift, almost casual motion, Vegito caught Dispo's fist mid-strike, his grip unbreakable. "Too slow," Vegito said with a smirk, before launching Dispo across the arena with a powerful kick. The impact sent shockwaves through the battlefield, drawing the attention of Jiren, who had been locked in a brutal exchange with Goku and Frieza. Jiren's stoic expression faltered for a moment as he sensed the shift in Vegito's energy. "Interesting," Jiren muttered, his voice low and measured. "But it will take more than that to defeat me." Goku, still struggling to maintain his Ultra Instinct form, gritted his teeth as he pushed himself to keep up with Jiren's overwhelming power. Frieza, ever the opportunist, launched a surprise attack from behind, his death beam slicing through the air with deadly precision. But Jiren, ever vigilant, deflected the attack with a mere flick of his wrist, his energy barrier flaring to life. "You'll have to do better than that," Jiren said, his voice calm but laced with menace. Goku and Frieza exchanged a glance, their mutual disdain momentarily set aside as they realized the gravity of the situation. "We need to work together," Goku said, his voice strained. Frieza sneered but nodded reluctantly. "Fine, but don't get in my way, monkey." The two warriors launched a coordinated assault, Goku's Kamehameha wave colliding with Frieza's death ball, creating a massive explosion that engulfed Jiren. For a moment, it seemed as though they had succeeded, but as the smoke cleared, Jiren emerged unscathed, his aura burning brighter than ever. "Impressive," Jiren admitted, "but not enough." With a sudden burst of speed, Jiren closed the distance, his fist slamming into Goku's chest with bone-crushing force. Goku was sent flying, his body skidding across the arena floor as he struggled to maintain consciousness. Frieza, realizing the futility of his attacks, began to retreat, but Jiren was already upon him, his energy blade slicing through the air. Frieza barely managed to dodge, his golden form flickering as he expended more energy than he could afford. As the battle raged on, Vegito's transformation reached its climax. His aura shifted, becoming a radiant silver as he fully embraced the power of Ultra Instinct. His movements became even more fluid, his attacks more precise, as he effortlessly countered every move Jiren made. The two warriors clashed in a flurry of blows, their energy colliding in a dazzling display of power. Vegito's fists moved like lightning, each strike landing with devastating force, while Jiren's counters were equally brutal, his raw strength pushing Vegito to his limits. But Vegito's newfound power gave him the edge he needed. With a sudden burst of speed, he closed the distance, his fist slamming into Jiren's chest with enough force to send him flying across the arena. Jiren skidded to a halt, his expression one of shock and disbelief. "Impossible," Jiren muttered, his voice barely audible over the roar of the crowd. Vegito stood tall, his silver aura blazing as he prepared to deliver the final blow. But before he could strike, Jiren's eyes narrowed, his resolve hardening. "You may have surpassed your limits," Jiren said, his voice steady, "but so have I." With a sudden burst of energy, Jiren's aura flared to life, his power reaching new heights as he prepared to unleash his full strength. The two warriors charged at each other, their energy colliding in a massive explosion that shook the arena to its core. As the dust settled, both warriors stood battered and bruised, their energy nearly depleted. But neither was willing to back down. The battle had reached its climax, and the fate of their universes hung in the balance. With a final, desperate surge of energy, Vegito and Jiren launched their most powerful attacks, their energy beams colliding in a dazzling display of light and power. The explosion that followed was deafening, the shockwaves rippling through the arena as the two warriors gave everything they had. And as the light faded, only one warrior remained standing, his body battered but unbroken. The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices echoing through the arena as the victor was declared. But for Vegito and Jiren, the battle was far from over. The tournament of power had pushed them to their limits, and they knew that the true test of their strength was yet to come. The arena trembled as the final battle of the tournament of power reached its climax. The air crackled with energy, the ground splintering under the weight of unimaginable power. Goku, Vegeta, and their fused form, Gogeta, stood battered but resolute, facing the overwhelming might of Jiren and the newly revived Cell, who had returned with a vengeance. The stakes had never been higher, the survival of their universe hung in the balance, and every second counted. Cell, now infused with the energy of the fallen warriors, had evolved into a monstrous form, his golden aura radiating an oppressive force. His laughter echoed across the arena as he unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, forcing Gogeta to dodge and weave with blinding speed. "You fools thought you could defeat me? I am perfection incarnate," Cell roared, his voice dripping with malice. Gogeta gritted his teeth, his fusion time ticking away, but his resolve burned brighter than ever. "We'll see about that," he muttered, his fists glowing with blue and gold energy as he charged forward. The clash between Gogeta and Cell was a spectacle of raw power and precision. Gogeta's punches landed with the force of a collapsing star, each strike sending shockwaves through the arena. Cell retaliated with equal ferocity, his tail lashing out like a whip, aiming to impale Gogeta. The fused warrior dodged narrowly, countering with a spinning kick that sent Cell skidding across the ground. "You're strong, but you're not invincible," Gogeta shouted, his voice a mix of Goku's determination and Vegeta's pride. Yet, despite his efforts, Cell's regeneration and adaptability made him a relentless foe. The battle seemed endless, each fighter pushing the other to their absolute limits. Meanwhile, Jiren, the stoic warrior of Universe 11, had been observing the chaos with a calm demeanor. But as the fight escalated, even he could no longer remain passive. His aura flared, a deep crimson that seemed to warp reality itself. "Enough," he declared, his voice resonating with authority. In an instant, he appeared between Gogeta and Cell, his fists slamming into both with such force that the arena cracked beneath them. Gogeta staggered, his fusion flickering dangerously, while Cell hissed in frustration. "You dare interfere?" Cell snarled, his eyes narrowing. Jiren's expression remained impassive. "This tournament is about survival, not your petty ambitions. I will end this." The battle shifted as Jiren joined the fray, his overwhelming power forcing both Gogeta and Cell to adapt. Gogeta, sensing the urgency, pushed his limits further, his aura shifting from gold to a shimmering silver. "This is it," he whispered, his eyes glowing with a newfound clarity. "Ultra instinct. I can feel it." His movements became fluid, almost effortless, as he dodged Jiren's attacks with preternatural precision. Each strike he landed was perfectly timed, his power resonating with the harmony of the universe itself. Jiren's eyes widened in surprise. "So, you've finally achieved it," he acknowledged, a rare hint of respect in his voice. "But it won't be enough." Cell, however, was not content to be overshadowed. With a roar, he unleashed his ultimate technique, a massive energy sphere that threatened to engulf the entire arena. "If I can't win, then I'll destroy everything," he screamed, his voice filled with desperation. Gogeta and Jiren exchanged a glance, their rivalry momentarily set aside. "We have to stop him," Gogeta said, his voice steady. Jiren nodded. "For once, I agree." The two warriors combined their power, their auras merging into a blinding light. Gogeta's Ultra Instinct and Jiren's full strength created a devastating attack, a beam of energy that pierced through Cell's sphere and struck him directly. The explosion that followed was cataclysmic, the shockwave rippling through the multiverse. When the dust settled, Cell was gone, his presence erased from existence. The arena was silent, save for the heavy breathing of the exhausted warriors. Gogeta's fusion finally gave way, separating into Goku and Vegeta. Both collapsed to their knees, their bodies battered but their spirits unbroken. Jiren stood tall, though even he showed signs of strain. "You've proven yourselves," he said, his voice softer now. "Perhaps there is more to strength than I once believed." Goku managed a weak smile. "Yeah, well, you're not so bad yourself." Vegeta, ever the proud Saiyan, grunted in agreement. "Don't get used to it, Jiren. Next time, we'll settle this on our own terms." As the Grand Priest announced the end of the tournament, the universes that had been erased were restored, their inhabitants unaware of the battle that had saved them. The bonds forged in the heat of combat would shape the future of the multiverse, as warriors from different worlds now shared a common understanding. Goku and Vegeta, the rivals, had grown closer through their fusion and shared struggle. Jiren, once a solitary figure, had found a new perspective on strength and camaraderie. The aftermath of the Tournament of Power was a time of reflection and renewal. The Z fighters returned to Earth, their resolve stronger than ever. Goku, now closer to mastering Ultra Instinct, trained with a renewed sense of purpose. Vegeta, inspired by their fusion, sought to push his own limits further. Even Jiren, back in his universe, began to question the isolation he had imposed upon himself. The multiverse, once divided, now felt a little more connected, its future shaped by the actions of those who had fought to protect it. As the sun set on the battlefield, Goku looked up at the stars, a sense of peace settling over him. "We did it," he said quietly. Vegeta, standing beside him, crossed his arms. "Don't get too comfortable, Kakarot. There's always someone stronger out there," Goku chuckled. "Yeah, and that's what makes it fun." Together, they walked away, ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring. The universe had been saved, but their journey was far from over.